an absolute piece of shit of a human being. The pronouns was, were. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, you piece of shit!
Did you guys hear what happened to Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
And what do you think about how everyone's reacting to it?
I think, what's that Mark Twain quote? I wouldn't laugh over someone dying, but I've smiled at a few obituaries. That's how I feel about it.
Why do you say that?
Because, there wasn't, is there really, anything that we lost due to him, not being alive anymore? Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
No, it's your opinion. Go ahead. Tell me why you feel that way.
Granted, I didn't know who he was until he got shot. He was not on my radar at all. So having, done my research and, seeing who he was in life, rest in peace. Rest in peace, I guess. No, actually, no, don't rest in peace. No, absolutely not. He wasn't a good person, or he wasn't someone that would have, wished me well, so why would I wish him well in life or death?
And you?
Ditto.
What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? That you can celebrate someone's death. Seriously. Because they don't agree with you? Because they talk about different things and you don't like what they're saying? You don't like hearing the truth? So you celebrate their death? What is going on? I'll tell you what. That is the state of our country and our world. The devil is dancing right now, and you're celebrating right along with him. So God help you.
They're homeless by choice.
No, you need to understand this. You need to understand this right now.
There's
Not
Section 8 housing for every single one of them. They either have deep-seated mental issues and they should be in an asylum, or number two, they have drug issues, or number three, they're there by choice. It is not a lack of homes why we have homelessness.
all the people that I know who do work, who are homeless, who are working out of their car, who are working for double the minimum wage and still cannot afford their homes because of debts from the 2008 crisis. All of those good people, you think that they are all mentally ill and not deserving of having homes?
So did they apply for Section 8 housing?
Absolutely, they didn't get it. There's not enough.
There's an abundance of Section 8 housing
Absolutely
in this
not in every area. Not here.
If you had cancer and your doctor was like, let's just stop talking about it. It wouldn't, in the same context that racism wouldn't go away.
Got it.
Cancer wouldn't go away.
Let's accept that premise.
Not.
Do you think racism is a top 100 problem in America?
I think it is. I haven't considered the other 99 to give a thorough.
Crime, fathers not being around, obesity, mental health issues,
for sure,
anxiety, cost of college, an open border, Russian-Ukrainian war, nuclear proliferation, artificial intelligence, the rise of China. All that's probably more important than racism.
I'm not saying it is or isn't.
But however,
you're kind of changing the subject.
No, I'm not. But I'm going to say, use your premise. If I have cancer, that's the most important thing happening to me.
Correct.
Racism is not a cancer on America. Racism is sin, and we'll never get rid of sin.
Most white people don't see racism. I know that it seems unbelievable because the signs are there if you look for them, but we don't see racism because we're spoiled. That's right, I said it. Here's how I personally illustrate this as an analogy from my personal experience. I have had problems with my feet all my life, and if I am having foot pain, all I can think about is how much my feet hurt. But when I found a style of shoes that were right for me, I realized I hardly ever think about my feet anymore because they don't bother me now. If something is causing you pain, you think about it. You think about how to make it stop. Or you give up thinking about it ever stopping and you think about how to endure it, how to live with it, how to fight it, how to minimize it. And that applies whether it's foot pain or racism. Most white people very rarely have to think about race unless we make a decision to think about it. And that's a choice for us. It's optional. It's not something we're forced to confront every day. As white parents, we tell our kids, if you get into trouble, find a police officer. They'll help you. Black parents would never do that. People of color give the talk about how to minimize the risk of getting killed by cops. If something doesn't hurt you, you don't learn to watch out for it. That is why white people don't get it when it comes to race. We walk through the world thinking our experience is the norm. So when black people describe being followed, being profiled, denied, or dismissed, it doesn't line up with what we have experienced. So we assume that black people are exaggerating, or too often we assume that it means that it's just not really happening. But the truth is, and I'm talking to white people here, racism isn't always blatant. It's not always a burning cross or a lynching. Sometimes it's a policy or a pattern that benefits us and makes us comfortable, so comfortable that we don't even notice. When it doesn't block your path, when it doesn't cause you any pain, you might not even notice that it exists. That's what white privilege is. Not just what you get, but what you never have to see.
You dropped out of college, and your highest...
Community college.
Sorry, your Harper College experience, I apologize.
Barely was smart enough to make it through community college.
Okay, so...
Barely made it through high school,
your
too.
highest degree level is an honorary doctorate degree from Liberty University.
No, that's true. I do have an honorary PhD.
Yeah, so essentially, what are your qualifications for arguing that college is a scam, or really having any economical knowledge at all, when likely the vast majority of the students here know more than you about economics as a whole?
So, no, hold on. It's okay, guys. It's okay. Right, I barely made it through community college because I was too busy, I don't know, starting a national youth movement with hundreds of thousands of members.
Hey, hold on, though. Hold on.
Employing hundreds of people, raising hundreds of millions of dollars,
yes,
having a top 10 most popular podcast,
sure,
and reaching tens of millions of people online every day.
Sure,
but hold on.
But you're also
what
calling all of your constituents idiots by
I've
saying they participate in a scam. Their shirt's right there.
I'm
College
calling
is a
the
scam.
Institution a scam.
So then
I never
why,
insulted the intelligence. I just had 10 people come up and we had warm conversations. So you asked, what are my qualifications? I'm a job creator, entrepreneur, autodidact. Do you know what that word means? Self-taught. Yeah, self-taught. You know, you should probably learn that word if you're going to come up and insult other people's intelligence.
Yet
Can you
you're
name one thing I've
consistently
ever
wrong.
said? Hold on. Name one thing I'm wrong about.
You literally just now incorrectly cited the difference between socialism and communism. While you yourself...
How so? What did I do?
How so? You claimed that Russia was socialist. Russia was never
socialist. The Soviet Union was socialist.
No, it was a communist nation. There is a significant difference between the two.
Why did Lenin say that socialism is the gateway to communism, and he was self-described socialist in his private treatise and documents in the Russian Revolution?
Lenin was overtaken by Stalin.
Hold on a second. No, Lenin died, and then Stalin was his successor.
Yes.
But Lenin himself said, quote, that socialism is the introductory phase to communism. Did he not say that?
So then the vast majority of people, when they're referring to communist Russia, are referring to Stalin's rule over Russia. That was a communist rule that turned into a fascist rule later on.
Okay, so but what thinker was deified in Soviet Russia?
What thinker was deified?
Yes.
Marx.
Oh, and what book did Marx write?
Yes, he wrote Capital, and he also wrote the Communist Manifesto.
Who was his co-author?
Who was co-author?
Yeah, Engels. Good. I'm glad college is really paying off for you.
The biggest point that everyone here is for is that you're a potential white supremacist. So,
what evidence do you have that I'm a racist?
I was just literally watching a video of you talking about whiteness as a whole, talking about whiteness as a concept, okay? And you were trying to explain how white privilege doesn't exist.
What can she not do in America that a white person can do? What opportunity? You served in the military. You've made good choices. You're getting rewarded for them. You're going to live in the American middle class. What privilege do I have that you don't have that is based on skin color, not on wealth or socioeconomic status? Please.
The fact that you are sitting here with like little to no education trying to talk to people about white privilege is white privilege.
Thing that white people and black people have different biologically.
Don't change the question of this, like DNA-wise, we are different.
No, we're not. That's a lie. It has been disproven. Front page of National Geographic 6 months ago. Racism created by society. If you look at DNA independently in a science laboratory, they cannot distinguish between a black person or a white person if they look at just the DNA, because the only difference is the melanin. It has been disproven. Race is a social construct that I want to break out of.
This shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened? Something changed. They committed less crimes.
Maybe they were afraid. I mean, 4,000 black men, women, and children were killed in violent lynch mobs.
That's your explanation, but I guess
racial terror permeated American culture for hundreds of years.
Black America is worse than it has been
that affected
in the last 80 years.
The generational psyche of an entire group of people?
No, I'm sure it did. I'm not discounting that.
So slavery wasn't that bad. Am I getting that right, PragerU? You say slavery wasn't that bad. I'll tell you what, if you think that's the case and to everyone else who agrees with you, then why Why don't you be slaves? For the next 300 years, you can be slaves, and then tell us that it wasn't that bad. That it's better to be a slave than to be unalive. Since, as you say, it's not that bad. Since you say that slaves were treated like family. If it wasn't so bad, then submit yourself to the same treatment of African Americans for 300 years. And I'll do you one better. We'll build a great nation off of your back and give you no credit for it. You can eat from troughs like African Americans were made to. You'll be forced to breed, and then your children will be sold to the highest bidder. And if you dare talk back, we'll take your tongue. But again, it wasn't that bad. If you try to take any food because you're hungry, we'll take your fingers. But again, it wasn't that bad, right? Your women will be forced to please their masters against their will. But it wasn't that bad, right? You'll work in the hot sun from dawn to dusk every single day. And you won't have a problem with it, right? Because it wasn't that bad. But you're not going to do that, are you? Because you know that it was that bad. In fact, it was far worse than many of us even know. Because the history books don't teach us about how bad it actually was. For over 300 years, untold misery was inflicted upon the African American population, and they got nothing in return. And the people that perpetrated that violence against the African American community faced zero consequences for their actions. They even fought a war to keep their slaves. And in 160 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, not a single family has seen justice for the horrors inflicted upon them. And instead, they were treated like second-class citizens, to be used and abused and still never see justice. So PragerU, if you think it wasn't that bad, I dare you to live a day in their shoes.
I think that there's a bias with race in general within politics, and I think the Republican Party lacks a consistency in that. So my question to you is going to be, if I name these three names, could you tell me if they're guilty or not guilty? Okay, so the first one's going to be Carmelo Anthony.
Based on the facts available, absolutely guilty.
Okay. Now, O.J. Simpson.
Oh, absolutely guilty.
Okay. George Zimmerman.
No, self-defense. He was acquitted by a jury of his peers. Why should I have to then go pay for something that my ancestors did correctly? Finally, it's like, how do you prove it? Prove it like this is not your argument, but it's a hilarious contradiction. The very same people who tell you that voter ID is racist want all of a sudden black America to prove that they're the descendants of slaves 7 generations ago. Like, let me go get my paperwork together. Average music that a black person in Compton is listening to, is it about contemplating the good, the true, and the beautiful, or is it about being a gangbanger and trying to get as much money and sleep with about as many girls as you can?
I would actually like to think I would be offended by that.
Do you think the average black kid in Compton is listening to Beethoven or some sort of gangster rap music that glorifies gangster culture?
Silly question. Rap wasn't created to glorify gangster culture. So even though there is rap, I'm sure that's doing that.
You're dodging the question because...
Okay, I'm sure they're listening to rap.
Okay.
So you think rap music makes them leave their mom?
Do you think the cultural expectation in black America is that you stay with the woman that you impregnate?
Within black communities? I can't speak on that.
You know, a lot of things that could be said right now, but I think the overall takeaway should be we should treat Charlie Kirk with the same level of respect around his death that he treated George Floyd with, that he treated Breonna Taylor with, that he treated all of the school shooting victims with. I think we should just equate the level of empathy. Let's play his game.
A message for racist people. Jesus is mad at you. Yeah, he's mad at you. I don't know if you know this, but Jesus wasn't white. I know. Yeah, he actually looked a lot more like the people that you're being mean to. So you might want to stop.
Charlie Kirk did not deserve to be assassinated. But I'm overwhelmed seeing the flags of the United States of America at half-staff calling this nation to honor and venerate a man who was an unapologetic racist and spent all of his life sowing seeds of division and hate into this land. And hearing people with selective rage who were mad about Charlie Kirk but didn't give a damn about Melissa Hortman and her husband when they were shot down in their home, tell me I ought to have compassion for the death of a man who had no respect for my own life. I am sorry But there's nowhere in Bible where we are taught to honor evil. And how you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life. I can abhor the violence that took your life, but I don't have to celebrate how you chose to live.